Right now on 12 News at 1, Vice President Harris and her running mate Tim Walz are in town to campaign, what they're doing while visiting the Valley. Plus, officials releasing the results of Preston Lord's autopsy, what it reveals about his murder. And the Phillies are back in town in a rematch of last year's NLCS, what the team is giving away as a reminder of last year's success for the ball team. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for 12 News at 1. I'm Rachel Cole. Right now, we're tracking the biggest stories across the Valley for you, and there's a lot of anticipation for Vice President Harris' event later tonight, and that's accompanied by plenty of security as she stays in downtown Phoenix. 12 News journalist Troy Lynch shows us how the VP's arrival is blocking some very busy streets.
Yeah, we're in downtown Phoenix right now where Vice President Kamala Harris stayed the night last night. And as you can see, lots of security before her event later tonight in Glendale at Desert Diamond Arena. You can see that the Phoenix Fire Department has set up a station right here. And this is just one of the main streets that has been blocked off. It's local traffic only coming through these parts. But if you want to get through here off of Taylor and 3rd Street, your car is going to have to be searched by Secret Service. And they also have dogs sniffing around in your car in order for you guys to get through. Not only that, they have large dumpsters just blocking different streets, as you can kind of see, blocking cars from getting in. However, local traffic, like I said, can get through, and people, if they're just walking on the sides of the street, they are allowed to do that as well. Like I already said, this is all in regards to Kamala Harris's event later tonight in Glendale at Desert Diamond Arena. Lots of security as she stays here in downtown Phoenix. But we're here in Phoenix. Troy Lynch, 12 News.
Troy, thanks for giving us a quick look at that. And 12 News will continue our team coverage of the Harris-Walz visit to Arizona throughout the day. In fact, political insider Bram Resnick will be adding insight from the campaigns. You can stream our digital newscast at 5 o'clock. And tonight on 12 News at 6:30, we'll have complete coverage of the vice president's rally tonight in Glendale. And we'll have live updates streaming all day long on 12news.com. On the other side of the aisle, former President Trump is challenging Vice President Kamala Harris to multiple debates. He announced the new schedule at a press conference at Mar-a-Lago in Florida, his first public appearance since Harris selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Trump proposed 3 debates in September, hosted by Fox, NBC, and ABC. Harris was later asked during a rally if she'd be participating in the 3 upcoming debates against Trump, to which she agreed and emphasized how much she's looking forward to them. ABC is the only network to confirm both Trump and Harris have agreed to that debate on September 10th. This afternoon, a new Marquette Law School poll shows many Americans remain opposed to the Supreme Court's ruling on abortion. 2/3, in fact, surveyed oppose the High Court's ruling, which is a lot more lopsided of a disapproval rating than the court's other major recent decisions, including to expand access to guns or to grant former President Trump immunity from criminal prosecution. The Supreme Court's 2022 ruling returned the question of abortion to the states, about half of which still have access. It is certainly a hot and humid day around the Valley this weekend. Meteorologist Crystal Henderson standing by with a closer look at our weather impact forecast and what we can all plan for.
Yes, Rachel, monsoon storms also coming in hot. As you can see in the high country, you're getting hit with these boomers that just blasted up. This is the time once the PM hours roll around that we start getting rowdy with these storms sparking in the higher terrain. So action around Flagstaff, Williams, stretching out towards Seligman here. Expect some drenching downpours as well as the thunder, the lightning, and those howling winds. We could even see some hail out of those more robust storms too. So that is where the action is at. We got a big old 8 for northern Arizona. We're also going to see activity swirling around here in Rim Country in the White Mountains. Got a 4 out for southeastern Arizona and keeping it limited for our lower desert locations. But hey, we could still see a stray storm later on this evening. So I still want you to have your ears perked. Don't tune out the radar just yet. We can at the very least get some gusty winds headed our direction, maybe even digging up some dust and putting it up into the air as well. So evening hours, once we get closer to the dinner time, that's when we'll be watching those storms kind of sneak a little bit closer. And then we'll be watching for those gusty outflow winds and perhaps even some dust. We're not done with the storm chances after today. I have your weekend storm chances plus. It's turning hotter, Rachel. I have those numbers too.
Oh, we'll be looking forward to those changes and that 7-day. Crystal, thank you. We turn now to some breaking news. A passenger plane carrying 62 people has crashed just outside of São Paulo, Brazil. That accident happening in a neighborhood as the plane was headed toward São Paulo's International Airport. Brazil's civil defense says the plane hit multiple houses as it was crashing, and it's currently unknown if anyone on the ground was killed. We'll keep our eyes on that developing story. Turning now to the top stories that we're following here at home. Just this morning, the Maricopa County Medical Examiner released its autopsy report on Preston Lord. We've learned Lord sustained multiple blunt force injuries consistent with previous reports released. The office also said there were no significant findings in the toxicology report. Meantime, 7 suspects are currently awaiting trial charged with Lord's murder. Now over to the West Valley, where the city of Goodyear just announced it has selected its new police chief. Take a look. After a nationwide search, Brian Issett has been chosen to take that position. Issett retired as a commander with the Phoenix Police Department in 2023 after serving 22 years overseeing multiple units during his tenure. He started his new role on August 5th. What day is it? The previous chief retired after 26 years with the Goodyear Police Department. And the University of Arizona has announced its 23rd president. Dr. Suresh Garmella will be announced later today after being appointed in a unanimous vote by the Arizona Board of Regents. Garmella was previously the president of the University of Vermont. The decision concludes an 18-month search to fill that role. A start date has not yet been announced as the contract is not yet finalized. The current university president has been with the school since 2017 and announced his departure plan in April amid a financial crisis. In health news, a new report finds about 400 million people have had long COVID. That's 6% of adults and about 1% of children. The research team also estimates the global economic cost of long COVID is about $1 trillion a year globally. They also cited studies that suggest only 7 and 10% of long COVID patients recovered 2 years later, and some chronic conditions from it could last a lifetime. The journal Nature Medicine also cites estimates that 2 to 4 million adults were out of work in 2022 as a result of long COVID. The report calls for much more research into treatments and diagnostics and recommends new policies such as flexible workplaces. Meanwhile, deaths from COVID-19 are on the decline in the United States. According to the Centers for Disease Control, COVID deaths in the U.S. fell 69% from 2022 to 23. It was the 10th leading cause of death just last year. Well, if you've ever seen someone walking backwards, you probably looked at them a little funny, but they might be onto something good. Backwards walking is actually a popular rehabilitation exercise, and now it's gaining traction on social media. Where else? Megan Fitzpatrick found out why it might be better than clocking 10,000 steps the old-fashioned way.
4 years after starting to walk in reverse, Julie Daniluk hasn't looked back.
I can now walk at least a few kilometers this way.
She started after a knee injury, and step by backward step, it helped her recovery.
I love backwards walking because it has truly rehabilitated my knees and my hip.
I highly recommend it.
She shares her passion on social media, and she's not alone. Word is spreading about the benefits of moving backwards. This personal trainer encourages his clients to give it a try.
I love it. I think it's amazing. But once you get used to it, you don't have to do it more than once, twice a week.
Several studies have compared forward walking versus retro walking, one drawing this conclusion. Backward walking positively affected gait and balance ability after intervention.
It's been theorized that when you walk 100 steps backwards, it's more work than if you took 1,000 steps forward.
I'm still a big proponent.
A good workout that targets specific muscles, according to experts.
Some of the evidence shows that walking backwards can help improve muscle strength, including muscles about the knee and the hip, improving balance. People walk faster after they've been training backwards.
Putting the toe down first instead of the heel eases pressure on the knee joint.
When he walks backwards, some of that shear force at the knee is reduced, and that can help people who have knee pain feel less pain.
Now I'm just walking backwards.
Beginners are advised to start out slowly on a treadmill or go outside with a partner.
So if you want to grasp my arm, okay, and you're going to start taking small steps backwards,
Okay.
Yeah, and you can trust that I have
This
you.
is so weird. I can't see where
I know,
I'm
right? La, la, la.
Retro walkers need to concentrate and rely on their other senses, and that gives the brain a workout too. When you are doing this, what are your neighbors thinking?
I've had a few people raise their eyebrows.
People with impaired balance or a history of falls may want to avoid this, but for those looking to spice up their exercise, backwards walking could be a new way to step out of their comfort zone.
In other news this afternoon, Tropical Depression Debbie is threatening the East Coast today, bringing the risk of catastrophic flooding and tornadoes. You can already see some of the damage that's already been done. More southern states face severe flood damage as well, while others continue to clean up after the storm spawned tornadoes. 7 people have died because of that storm system. Here at home, of course, as we experience summer heat, 12 News has learned of another apartment complex that has gone more than a month without proper air conditioning. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly spoke with people in Mesa who have been suffering through it.
Those living at the Sonoran Palms apartment complex near Country Club and Rio Salado Parkway have dealt with Arizona's record-breaking heat with no AC.
It's been hell living here.
Christopher Houston is one of many.
You can see how much I'm sweating in here.
He said this has been going on since June 30th, showing us his system is actually leaking.
Look at how rusty all that is in there.
Despite several calls to management to get the problem solved, he said the only fix he's received is this portable AC system.
It's looking at 87, 88 degrees.
But Houston says this is a matter of life and death for him due to medications he's currently taking.
One of the specific medications, if I'm in a place that's too hot or I get dehydrated or start sweating, I could get lithium poisoning and I could die.
Forcing him to find another place to live.
This apartment, for me personally, is inhabitable.
We checked out other apartments who are experiencing the same problem.
It says it's about 89 degrees in here.
Including Catherine Ackerman.
So your AC says it's set about 65 degrees, but from what we're seeing right here, we're looking at about 77 in this apartment.
It's been running probably all day and it's only 78. My electric bill's pretty high.
While hers was cooler than others, she says it's not always this way.
The other night when the AC went out, I had to sleep with like a wet washcloth on.
At the end of our interview, management came out.
Hello, you're with management? Yes. Can we ask you about the situation?
They told us to contact the property manager, which we did, and received this statement that says in part, "We are fully aware of the current issue that a small portion of our residents are having with the chiller system on property." It also says, unfortunately, some repairs have been delayed due to the availability of the necessary parts. But Sonoran Palms is doing everything in its power to fix the issue quickly. But residents are tired of waiting.
This is ridiculous.
Even willing to take legal action.
I've already contacted an attorney.
In Mesa, Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Good job, Chase. Thanks for that story. We do appreciate it. And you know what? 2024 is on track to be the hottest year on record, despite a slightly less intense July. Last month wasn't as hot as July 2023. It was, however, the second warmest on record, ending the streak of global monthly temperature records that have been going on for more than a year. And despite a slightly less hot July, 2 days last month were the hottest since 1940 when they started keeping track of records. Sea surface temperatures, too, also marked the second highest July on record. And there's no doubt about it. It's going to be another warm weekend in the Valley of the Sun. Meteorologist Crystal Henderson tracking the changes for us and what we can all plan for heading into the weekend.
It's like hearing hottest this, hottest that. Doesn't even faze us anymore. No surprise here. Man, we are feeling it, and it's even worse than the thermometer reads, and that's bad enough. We definitely have a case of the muggies going on with dew points in the 60s today, and it's just going to stay muggy because we are still in the middle of monsoon right now. We have 103 on the thermometer for Phoenix at the moment. Same goes for Avondale, Goodyear, Tempe. It's taking it to 104. Gilbert at 105 right now. So our triple-digit tally continues. Today's 103 so far has added a tick mark to this tally. We've had 82 days so far this year at 100 degrees or hotter. 68 of those days made it up to 105. Might be adding to that, especially with the forecast for today. 44 tipped the scales into 110 territory, and 10 days took it to 115 or hotter. 108 is what I'm calling for today in Phoenix. Looks like we're on pace to pull that off. Popping 110 though out in Parker and Bullhead City. We're going after 96 in Kingman, 93 Sedona, 90 in Winslow, and storms striking northern and eastern stretches of the state today, as well as down towards the Old Pueblo. So let me show you that future radar right now. This is what things look like. We're just starting to see that activity sprawl out across the higher terrain, filling in the radar some more in southeastern Arizona, and then we could slingshot a storm or a shower our direction in the valley once we're getting closer to that dinner hour. If the rain doesn't make it, probably the wind and maybe even the dust will. So just be on alert to get in on some of those stormy side effects. As we continue throughout the evening, then things will be dying down as you hit the hay, and then it's back to the old drawing board tomorrow. Our atmosphere still has spunk and monsoon moisture up its sleeve, and boom, we're going to blow things up all over the state again tomorrow with another shot for a stray storm or shower in the valley again later on in the PM hours. So if tomorrow's a pool day for you, just have your ears perked and your eye to the sky. And then as we go into your Sunday, we're going to see some more stormy action, mainly in the mountain zones, though. So for your Saturday splash cast, because I know with temperatures towering in 110 territory, you're definitely going to want to take the edge off in a pool near you. We're already in the triple digits by 11 o'clock in the morning, taking it to 105 at lunchtime. We continue to see those towering temperatures now hitting 110 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then remember, that's when we're going to be watching for those storm clouds building around us. So just watch out. If you do hear that clap of thunder, head indoors. And we're still talking above 105 by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, heading into the evening. Now, UV index, it's very high. Burn time is just 15 minutes. Don't forget the sunblock if you're out there at the pool, or maybe you're floating down the Salt River. Allergy index, thankfully, that's one thing we've got going for us. That's low medium. Moderate for air quality starting this weekend. Today it is tainted with ozone, so we do have an ozone high pollution advisory just today though only. Our heat risk is down to moderate, and the mosquitoes still bugging you. Don't forget the bug spray if you're going to be out, maybe even hanging out in the high country. Just keep in mind that this weekend northern Arizona has a good shot both days to see storms, so you're going to have to be ready for that. For the White Mountains, your chances get greater on Sunday. More dry time than anything for the valley and rim country, but still watch for a stray storm there. And of course, we are turning it hotter, maxing out at 111 on Saturday in the valley, and it's still going to be feeling steamy or sticky for a long stretch. So just be ready for those muggies to make it feel more miserable than the thermometer actually reads. So still hanging on to a limited shot, but hey, it is a shot for an evening shower storm today. Tomorrow, a slight chance on Sunday, maybe a little bump up on those storm chances on Monday. And then drier air definitely takes over next week. But I will say, Rachel, most of the days are spent below the 110 benchmark. It's just, you can't take it at face value with the humidity hiked up so high.
Yeah, so maybe August won't be as record-setting as July was. We can only hope. How about this? Smokey Bear. That's his name now. I didn't know when that changed. I call him Smokey the Bear. He's celebrating his 80th birthday today. The beloved fictional animal first appeared on wildfire prevention posters in August 1944 and quickly became America's symbol for wildfire prevention. His original message was, "Care will prevent 9 out of 10 forest fires." Now it's the familiar saying, "Only you can prevent wildfires." A year-long celebration of Smokey Bear's 80th birthday kicks off today with an award ceremony honoring wildfire prevention heroes. Don't get scared if you're seeing skeletons, witches, and ghosts in early August. Many big box retailers are getting into the spooky season earlier than ever before. Michaels says it started selling Halloween merchandise in June. The arts and crafts store says the launch of its seasonal collections are driven by consumer demand. So far, sales of Halloween goods have beat their internal expectations. Meanwhile, Home Depot started selling its Halloween decorations online in April, also fueled by high demand. But they say stores won't start stocking shelves until around Labor Day. Competition is winding down for the 2024 Summer Olympic Games, but not before breaking makes its Olympic debut in Paris with Victor Malteveau representing Team USA. This afternoon, he's breaking down how he creates a signature move. Take a look.
I don't like breaking at parties or clubs. It's the worst idea to do. I remember I went to a rooftop spot. I tried to show off. I did a 1990 and fell like on 3 girls. After that day, I'm like, all right, I'm never, ever dancing again at a club. Victor Montalvo, I do breaking, and I'm from Kissimmee, Florida. Breaking was inspired and influenced by kung fu, gymnastics, by a lot of African dances, Indian dances, so it's all of that mixed in one. My creative process, to be honest, is music, just improvising. You never remember what you did, but you remember the feeling. There's times that I'm recording myself and I see the move, I'm like, all right, I keep it, and keep it as a signature. So breaking is not just about moves, but it's about movement within the music, and basically your body is like the instrument. I break every day, I session with my friends, and there's times where I have like the creativity session, you know, late night sessions where you just want to create. I never liked the studio setting. It just didn't have that character, you know, and especially where breaking comes from, it comes from the Bronx, it comes from the streets. I gravitate more towards like the grimy practice spots with graffiti in the back, you know. It just has more feeling and more culture. I just want to show the essence of the dance. I just want to show what breaking is all about.
I would have to have my orthopedist on speed dial if I ever tried that. It's going to be a musical handover for the 2028 LA Olympic Games. The Paris 2024 Olympics will reportedly conclude with a musical celebration featuring Los Angeles' most prominent artists. According to Variety, Sunday's closing ceremony will feature performances by 3 of LA's most influential acts. We're talking Billie Eilish, Snoop Dogg, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers, each representing different facets of the city's rich heritage. Well, here at home, the Diamondbacks are the first team in all of Major League Baseball to install a reusable cup program. The team is trying to be greener by eliminating those single-use waste cups at the stadium. 12 News journalist Troy Lynch back and was at Chase Field earlier and is telling us why this all got started.
It's an idea that might look like trash, but it's actually reusable gold. In July, the Diamondbacks became the first MLB team and pro Arizona sports venue to install a reusable cup program.
For us, it's something that we've been committed to for a long time. We feel like it's part of our responsibility to the community.
The same cups reused game after game, all to reduce single-use waste.
We certainly have an expectation that it's going to be very popular, and it has been so far. People ask about it.
The D-backs partnered with Bold Reuse that opened the first wash hub in the state in July, and it's literally down the street from Chase Field.
Once we had operations ready, we asked the teams who's ready to go, and the Diamondbacks signed up.
The Arizona Department of Environmental Quality had grant money to give out for the first time in 14 years, giving Bold Reuse $208,000 in April.
Oh, I was so excited. We don't have a lot of reuse in Arizona yet, so we're really trying to build that market.
Right now, the reusable cup program has an 85% return rate, and it's very simple. You just grab a cup, get your soda, and then you return it right in one of these bins. Now, this program is located only in this suite right now, but they're hoping to expand it as much as they can in future seasons.
They come out on this side, fresh and clean.
In the first 5 days, over 2,100 cups have been washed and returned. The hub is open every day and is able to wash up to 100,000 cups a day. According to Bold Reuse, a reusable cup creates 83% less carbon dioxide than a compostable cup after 25 uses.
It's going to reduce things going to the landfill, which improves our soil quality, air quality, water quality, protects the public and our health.
In Phoenix, Troy Lynch, 12 News.
I love it. Troy, thanks a lot. Speaking of the Snakes, it's a big weekend for the boys. They're taking on the Phillies, who you'll remember they beat to win the National League Championship Series last season. We sure do remember it. There's also 2 big theme nights happening this weekend for all fans in attendance. Tonight is GCU night and also Faith and Family night there at Chase Field. First pitch is at 6:40. Then tomorrow night, the first 30,000 fans in attendance will receive an NL Championship replica ring. There it is right there. First pitch for that game is at 5:10. And check this out. Members of the Chandler Police Department were given the opportunity to show off their inner cowboy. Take a look. So So the department was sharing this video on social media saying a young bull tried to bring their Wild West to Chandler. Thanks to the cowboy skills, though, of our officers, along with quick thinking, the steer has been moved back to his home where he belongs. A way to go to that department. Thanks for joining us here at 1 p.m. We will be back for a digital version of 12 News at 5 o'clock. We're expecting to hear from Vice President Kamala Harris and her VP pick, Tim Walz, later this evening during their campaign rally out at Desert Diamond Arena. We will bring you that, plus more details on 12news.com, the 12 News app, and the 12 Plus app on your Apple and Fire TV or Roku streaming device. Thanks so much for watching 12 News, and we'll see you again later today. Have a great weekend.